Hello, welcome back to 78 Reflections. My name is Patty Elaine, and I'm so glad you're here. We're about midway through Capricorn season right now, which runs December 22nd to January 19th. And today what I want to talk about are the decans. So I went on a decan stroll, or at least started a decan stroll in 2025, but I had to go on a sabbatical, but I'm back now. And excited to be here and just jumping in right where we are, which is in the middle of Capricorn. So if you don't know, decans split each zodiac sign into roughly 3 10-day periods, each with its own flavor and lesson. Whether or not you're a Capricorn sun, which I'm not, these decans represent subtle shifts in energy that affect us all and help us move with natural rhythms of growth, challenge, and mastery. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 3 Capricorn decans as one unfolding story, showing how Capricorn's energy flows from release to action to stewardship. Let's dive right in. We're going to start with a very brief overview of Capricorn to ground us in the season. An important disclaimer, I am, by no stretch of the imagination, an astrologer. I'm just learning about astrology, and mostly through the lens of the tarot. So what I'm sharing here is intentionally very elementary. Capricorn's keyword is achieve, and Capricorn is represented by the mergoat, which is half sea creature and half mountain goat. Capricorn requires a strong, healthy foundation to build upon. Its keywords include ambition, drive, determination, and willpower. What's helpful to remember is that mountain goats are built for ascent and descent. They thrive on momentum and progress. And they're not especially comfortable on flat terrain. So Capricorns or Capricorn energy can feel stalled or restless when they don't feel a sense of progress. That's an important foundation to hold as we move through the decans. Capricorn is associated with the 10th house, which relates to authority, career, social status, success, respect, and power. It's a cardinal earth sign of winter, and that seasonality matters. This is an energy shaped by discipline, conservation, and endurance in order to survive the winter months. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Can we fit everyone here? Here we go. And Saturn's keyword is structure. It's often called the taskmaster of astrology, not to punish, but to make sure that we are certain of our direction, making responsible choices. So holding this baseline understanding of Capricorn and Saturn gives us a helpful framework for the decans. But before we go there, let's talk about the tarot card associated with Capricorn. Let's just move these up a little bit. There we go. And it is the Devil. The Devil is perhaps one of the most misunderstood cards in the deck. Like any tarot card, it isn't purely negative or positive. But the imagery can be tricky for us. The Devil depicted recalls Pan, the god of the woods, force, and wild spirit, in its goat form mirroring Capricorn's half goat, half fish symbolism. It represents the earthly, visceral world and our primordial instincts. Now, as a cardinal earth sign, Capricorn is practical and oriented towards organization and control, especially in the material realm. Governed by Saturn, it understands limits, responsibility, and hard work required to reach the objectives. So the Devil card also speaks to responsibility. And many times when we talk about the Devil card, we'll talk about the chains that bind us. And we can understand that as the shadow side of Capricorn's ambition. The chains around the figures in the card are loose though. They're not tight, so they can be removed. So the Devil card reminds us of our agency. The responsibility for our freedom and our choices rests with us. And that's the deeper reminder that the Devil offers. I want to show you a couple other depictions of the Devil. This one is from the Zodiac Tarot, which I wish was bigger and lighter. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I really like that imagery of the Devil as opposed to that one. This is from the Star Tarot, And this one has a lot of symbolism. The guidebook offers a really nice, deep a deep reflection or interpretation of the devil, which I really appreciate. But let's not stay here. Let's move into Capricorn Decan I. So what I'm going to be showing you is a tarot spread inspired by the Temperance card. So you can see with the Temperance card, there's 2 cups. And for this tarot spread, the cup on the left is going to be our sun sign, which is Capricorn. So we will leave Capricorn and the Devil card on the left. On the right, we will put the planetary ruler for the Decan. And then the card in the middle, the Decan card, is the alchemy between those 2 energies that are showing up. So let's get set up for that. So we are going to keep out Capricorn. We're going to keep this imagery of Capricorn and the devil. All right, so let's jump right in to Capricorn Decan I, which runs from December 22nd to the 30th. And here we have Jupiter in Capricorn. Jupiter's keyword is abundance. It symbolizes expansion through education, philosophy, law, travel. It's this broader, more expansive vision of life. Jupiter encourages us to think bigger. In the tarot, let's put this on this side. Jupiter is represented by the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune is about the cycles of life. It's about movement. It's about change. Regardless of whether or not you want to be on the wheel, you're on the wheel. And movement is certain. So we have here Capricorn's devil, which is focusing on achievement and outcome, paired with the wheel's momentum. It's important to remember that Jupiter doesn't resist structure, it animates it. So where all work and no play can make Capricorn feel a bit heavy, Jupiter introduces movement, possibility, and realignment. We have the devil's drive meeting with the wheels turning. And what happens when we have drive and movement? Sometimes that can make us a bit off balance. And so that it makes the Decan card for the first decan, the 2 of Pentacles, the Lord of harmonious change, very appropriate for this time of movement, because it becomes all about balance and moving forward without potentially losing momentum or falling into inertia. And this is guided by an oracle card from the Canterbury Oracle, which is the dark solstice sun. So this decan reminds us that renewal requires release. So the question becomes, how do we balance and what must be released so that our ambition can breathe? And that leads us nicely into Capricorn II. From December 31st to January 9th. And now we're going to take away the planet of Jupiter. And we're going to introduce the fiery planet of Mars. So Mars's keyword is motion. As a mythological god of war, Mars speaks to independence, willfulness, passion, defense, and action. Mars urges us to move, which is very appropriate following the wheel card. In the tarot, Mars is represented by an equally fiery card, and that is the Tower. The important thing to remember about the Tower card is the Tower card is disruption, yes. But the intention of the Tower card is to destroy structures that no longer serve us. And that lightning bolt is important because the lightning bolt is that moment of insight or knowing that change is needed. And so you can see why the Golden Dawn people decided that the Tower would represent Mars. So we have this Mars energy initiating, pushing, moving. It disrupts stagnation and directs vital force, even when the outcome may be disruptive and isn't fully known. So we see this mirrored in the Tower with the lightning creating sudden change. The Tower falls, but it doesn't resist because transformation is the necessary outcome. So here we have the Devil's discipline meeting with the Tower's decisive force. And what is going to be the card in the middle, the alchemy of these two energies? Well, it is the Three of Pentacles, the Lord of material work. The Three of Pentacles is about bringing things together, and it can be about collaboration, but it can also be about bringing all parts of ourselves together for a positive outcome. The earthly 10th house is actually the perfect container for Mars's energy. So rather than chaos, this becomes skilled collaborative building. These lightning flashes of inspiration are grounded into practical, meaningful results that we see in the Three of Pentacles. And this energy becomes a gateway to freedom. And we see with the Cantagy Oracle here, we don't know where we are, but we are free. Because we know when we surrender to the present as it actually is, rather than what we wish it were, we open ourselves up to possibility. We become lighter, more spontaneous, more free. So the question for this decan is, how can I act skillfully, even in the face of disruption, and without knowing the outcome, without certainty or a visible outcome? And that brings us to Capricorn Decan III. And it is ruled by the Sun. It goes from January 10th to January 19th. And the Sun's key word is source. Unsurprisingly, the tarot card for the Sun is the Sun card. In this card, we see a child that symbolizes purity, inner strength, creativity, and optimism. The Sun radiates warmth. It also illuminates and magnifies everything it touches. If we get too close, we can burn. Awareness is part of the gift from the Sun card. So here we have the Devil's ambition illuminated by the Sun. And we can see that illuminating ambition may not necessarily have a positive outcome, but there is a possibility of a positive outcome. And so the Decan card for this third decan is the Four of Pentacles, and it is the Lord of earthly power. The Four of Pentacles asks, what are we holding? Does it nourish us, sustain us, or does it protect us? On one hand, this card speaks to stability, boundaries, and wise stewardship. But on the other, it can point to rigidity or a scarcity mindset. So the lesson here is about wise management of resources, maintaining a strong foundation while remaining open to growth and possibility. And the Cantagy Oracle card very aptly is primary nourishment. So the Sun nourishes us, but also we nourish ourselves through that wise management of resources. So let's just do a very quick recap of Capricorn season as we've come to know it through this tarot spread. So first we have, in the first decan, we have Jupiter and the turning of the wheel. And the Two of Pentacles here invites us to release, balance, make space. Second, we have Mars and motion and the disruption and activation of the Tower, where the Three of Pentacles calls us into skilled action despite uncertainty. And finally, we have the illumination of the sun, where the Four of Pentacles asks us to steward what we've built with care, nourishment, and maturity. So I invite you to just take a moment to reflect on where we're at in the cycle right now and what we might need to release, act on, or tend to today. So thank you for joining me. I hope that you received some insights or something to think about through this video. Please like this video if you do. Subscribe if you'd like to hear more from me. And I'd love to hear your thoughts or reflections in the comments. And until next time, may our cards bring us truth bombs when we need it and tenderness when we don't. Until next time.